Morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. I'm Gunnar Eos, and welcome to another episode of the Logical Gamers podcast. I'm here today with Mr. HadoWolf and Mr. Esoteric, and we're going to discuss the recent Nintendo Direct that happened on February 8th of this year. Most agree it was a pretty good one. I have to agree with that sentiment. There was a lot of stuff that was relatively new. A lot of the games that they showed off are coming out in the first half of 2023. There was a lot of DLC announced for games that are currently running, such as Mario Kart, Fire Emblem Engage, Splatoon. There were some remakes that were announced that I am particularly excited for. And then the big one, The Legend of Zelda. There was a surprise Metroid announcement that I think a lot of people received well. And a new addition to the Nintendo Expansion Pass family, which I am not a fan of, to be quite honest. So, for this episode, me, Mr. Esoteric, and Mr. HadoWolf are going to just kind of give our overall thoughts on the Direct, some of the highlights, the games that were shown that we're looking forward to, and, just kind of discuss the Direct and our feelings on it. So, I'll try to keep mine precise. There was a bunch of stuff here that pretty much got me hyped.
Fashion Dreamer.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, the first they started off with Pikmin 4. I'm not the biggest Pikmin fan, but I do like Pikmin. I think it's a cute game. It's a cute game until it stops being cute, and then you see the carnage of all your Pikmin being murdered in front of you. Then it leaves like war scars. But other than that, Pikmin's pretty cool. They announced Pikmin 4. They showed some gameplay of Pikmin 4. Looks pretty cute. I'll probably pick it up. They also showed Ghost Trick Phantom Detective that's getting ported over to the Switch. Now, Ghost Trick was made by the same people that made the Phoenix Wright games, and it's kind of like a point-and-click murder mystery game. I really like it. I thought it was cool. So the fact that it's going to be on the Switch is neat. I like it. I'll probably pick it up. One of the major expansions they showed off was Splatoon 3. They're gonna have like Wave DLC. Nintendo really likes doing Wave DLC. You guys can't see it, but Mr. Esoteric does not seem to be a fan of this. But I'll explain it. It's for the first wave, it's basically just the hub for Splatoon, like literally just the hub world. It has all the same functions, all the same stores that you can buy stuff from in the Splatoon 3 hub world. You can buy it in the 1 hub world. So I sat there kind of like,
it's fucking stupid, man. I'm sorry.
I was like, why though? To me, it felt that Nintendo knows that the fans, or I guess some of the fans, like the first Squid Sisters. So for those that don't know, every Splatoon they change the announcers, and the fact that the first two are so popular, it's like, okay, we're just going to give you the hub world with the first two in it because that's what you want. But it doesn't do anything fundamentally different. The second half, the second wave, so to speak, is the one that probably is where all the content is. It's a story expansion, to my knowledge. I believe it's a story expansion. So, I don't know. That one just felt weird. It just felt like, I guess if you're a Splatoon mega fan, sure. But other than that, it just felt, I don't know why. Next, they finally announced that Advance Wars Reboot 1 and 2 will be coming out for real this time. So, fucking finally, I just want to play some damn Advance Wars. A new Kirby game, or a epilogue to the Kirby Return to Dreamland. This one was a surprising one, and I know Wolf was probably really happy, and Esoteric, because they're big Metroid fans. They announced a remaster for Metroid Prime that just dropped. Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah,
it's out?
Yeah, it's out. You can buy it right now.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that already.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah,
no, you're lying.
No, I'm okay. Yeah, check it. I think it's $39.99.
$39.99.
I believe so. Don't quote. You're probably checking now. So.
Yeah,
Okay,
hold on. I'm checking.
I don't want to interject again and rain
Okay,
on
no,
the
let's
parade,
go. Let's go. I
Kelly.
don't want to. Yeah, keep going.
I love that they're
Holy
re-releasing
shit,
it.
it's out already. Physical
Wait,
copies of the game will be available February 22nd.
well,
But I
yes,
can download it and play it today.
you heard it
No,
here,
I
What?
folks.
want the physical
We got some
physical copy.
revelations coming on in this podcast.
I
So
didn't know that it came out I would have downloaded it
it's
out of excitement, not even
Yeah,
realizing.
it's
yeah.
bittersweet for me, honestly.
All right, yeah. Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
The reason why is because they could have easily given us a trilogy, one that I would have absolutely waited for. But clearly, this is a financial business move where they're gonna sell each of them in increments. So I'm a little bit annoyed about that. It's kind of giving me the Final Fantasy old school vibes where they're trying to release them and you're supposed to pay buku bucks for each one of them. That's what I feel like they're doing. I mean, I'm an idiot, so I'm gonna get it anyway. But I'm just a little annoyed that they're doing it that way.
I figured it was going to be done because Metroid Prime 4 is coming out. So I figured it would behoove Nintendo to kind of remake or at least re-release the Prime trilogy because I never played it in its prime, no pun intended. So I was like, okay, so for me, I like Metroid. I'm not a super fan, but I've played Metroid Dread and Metroid, I think, Return of Samus, or the remake that was on the 3DS. And I was like, this is cool. I like this. This is fun. I'm down with this. So I hear, you, Wolf, and you, Esoteric, and a lot of Metroid fans tell me Prime is like the pinnacle. It's like it's up
Yeah,
there.
it's one of the best ones. Yeah.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
like my money was on Nintendo doing something like this. Now I agree with you, Esoteric. I kind of wanted like because they did it for the Wii,
Yeah,
I believe, or the
Yeah.
Wii U, the Prime trilogy, which was Prime 1, 2, and 3. I was kind of hoping for that. So I agree with you. I understand your annoyance at what they did, but we're going to talk about some of the other stuff in the direct. This is not like not Nintendo first party games, but yeah, I think Esoteric's got a point. It's kind of a running theme with how they're presenting these games. So I agree. But Metroid Prime, I will probably be picking it up myself. I think it's reasonably priced, and as Wolf found out live live on the podcast, it is out, at least digitally. Physically, will
playing it
drop
right now.
So, yeah, right. He's like, I'm not even forget this. I'm playing some Metroid. No. So another thing that I don't support. I did not support it when they did it for the N64. I'm not going to support it for this. It kind of tugged at me a little bit, but I'm going to stay strong and I'm not going to support this, in my opinion, pretty slap in your face business model that Nintendo's trying to do. So Nintendo announced that Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games will be coming to the digital digital emulation that Nintendo has, and it's going to be tied to their expansion pass. So for those that don't know what the expansion pass is, it's a $30 additional fee on top of the $20 that you pay for Nintendo Online Access for a year, making it a grand total of $50. And Nintendo knew what they were doing. Game Boy games are going to be part of the basic package. So my scrub ass, who only wants to pay $20, can play original Game Boy games using their emulator. But GBA games are going to be tied to the expansion pass. So if I want to play Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, if I want to play Golden Sun, because Golden Sun is one of the games that they showed would be announced, probably Golden Sun 1 and 2, I have to pay $50 to get access to that. Look, whoever's listening, watching, no shame if that's your thing. I ain't a fan of that. Fuck that shit. I'm not. No. I like Nintendo games, but I am not going to blind faith support everything they do. I ain't paying $50 a year. Fuck that. I'll emulate before I do that. That's just my hot take. I know people like it, but not a fan. So they showed off Katamari, which is cool. They showed off a couple indie games. One that I swear to God, there was spy planes over Esoteric's house this day because they released a remake of Batten Kaitos 1 and 2. And if you know our group, Esoteric's a huge fan of Golden Sun and Batten
Oh
Kaitos.
baby.
So he got what he wanted. Like it's coming out. I've never played Batten Kaitos,
It's
so
all right.
there you go. See,
It's
only
all right. I
only
get it.
only the hottest takes on this podcast.
It's great, man. It's
We got a great
Yeah,
and we
sure.
got an all right.
If you wanna tie your fire spell card to your fire spells to cards, if you need a fire spell and you don't draw the cards, you fucking assed out. But it's
let me
or
live
if
this
you need to
moment.
heal and you don't get a healing card, that sucks. You're not healing that turn.
Well, I there you go.
No,
There you
but to be fair with Batting Kaidos, they had this system where you could save the card and put it on the side. So when you do need to use it, you can, if I remember right. But no, it still was a situation where I need these cards and I'm not getting these cards, and this scenario is gonna suck because there's somebody on my team who's relying on one of these cards, whether it was a sword card or a spell card or a healing card. It was just like too many damn cards. But that's what makes the game stand out. So can't knock it too much.
Yeah, I enjoyed the game. I'm really excited that they coming out with 1 and
one
2.
and two. Yeah. So
Listen, I probably could have a different perspective now that I'm older, but back then in the GameCube's glory, like that game was amazing to me. So I'm gonna play them. I'm gonna get them. Let's see if my sentiments will like waver. So
My thing is with the Nintendo Direct is there's a lot of remakes, but not as much new entries.
yeah,
And
I can't really. Yeah.
well, I can say that because of the state of how video games are nowadays, new entries aren't as good as the old remakes. The old remakes is still, for me, it's not benefiting that much because I've already experienced it. So while it's a nice trip down memory lane, at the end of the day, it's not presenting anything new to me, right? Like the Metroid is giving me beautiful graphics. Yeah, it looks graphically strong, but it's the same game that I've played twice already. And then there is the Batten Kaitos, which I've played already. Advance Wars I've played already. Um, you know, all these games we've played already, but where is Metroid 4? Where is Batten Kaitos 3? Where is Advance Wars, whatever number that they should be on right now? I think 6 or 5.
yeah,
Five,
And I don't
six.
like,
Yeah, six.
yeah.
yeah.
So that's my thing on it. Like the Nintendo Direct was strong on Zelda, which is a new entry, and Reminiscence, right? Memories. That's really what it was. That was this whole direct. I mean, even if you think about it, the Fire Emblem Engage DLC is trip down memory lane. Why is that? Because it's the core of Fire Emblem Engage is to use past characters to push this game. That's how I look at it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and I love Fire Emblem Engage. I'm loving it. It's one of the best games I could possibly afford on my Switch right now. But at the end of the day, I didn't get excited because they had a new story mode. I got excited because Crom, Camilla, Hector, and whoever that other person was came back. And these are older characters who was in past Fire Emblem games, mostly Crom, Robin, and Camilla for me personally. And it's just like, but at the end of the day, a lot of these stuff that they're doing is Mario Kart 8's DLC. Mario Kart is how old? How old is Mario Kart?
Are we counting it from the Wii U?
It's the same game still getting together. I swear to you, they outdid Dead or Alive with DLC.
Well, I mean, Well, no. Well, first and foremost, that's exaggeration right there. Nobody will ever outdo Dead or Alive. They have like $800 to $900 worth of content on one game alone, so it will. I don't think anything will surpass Dead or Alive. But to your point, Wolf, I think what it is that it's two sides of a coin, right? So I think the first side is like you and myself, which is we're not like fully on that side where it's like we've already experienced most of these games. We want new games. But on the other side, I think it's Nintendo as a whole trying to gauge their audience and see what sticks and to determine whether or not the next IP of that particular game, like for example, the Metroid Prime series, I guess they're trying to gauge if they're gonna get a newer audience because they're definitely gonna get the ones who are nostalgic about it. They're definitely gonna get those, but they want to see if a new audience will gravitate toward this to determine how well Metroid Prime 4 sales will be. Um, this has always
But
been
how can
Nintendo's,
you how
huh?
can you well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's maybe that is a logical thing that they are going with, but I'm just saying there's like, and again, like I said in the last podcast with BlankaKong and Gunner, like past video games were the best video games because you got them in their full like in their fullest and most times maximum potential.
Mm.
So with Metroid Prime Remastered coming out, that is Metroid Prime at its full potential in terms of gameplay, and obviously they push the graphics to be stronger. I don't see them doing any tweaks to gameplay per se, like adding in new maps or new enemies or anything like that. I don't see them doing that. So what you get from Prime Remastered is what I got on the GameCube, which is good. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying is that, Nintendo franchises, and this is for Nintendo. I'm not going to say the same for Sony and Microsoft. And that's only because I think Nintendo has a more intimate relationship with their franchises. So, with that being said, in my opinion, is okay, um, everybody wants to see the new Metroid game. Where is it? No, there's no footage, there's no images, there's no announcement. Like, are you guys even still working on it? Give me something to the future, unless every 6 months you're gonna 6 months from now you're gonna present Metroid Prime 2, you're gonna charge me another $30, $40. Then you're gonna present Metroid Prime 3, and you're gonna charge me another 30 or $40. And then that year after is when I get Metroid Prime 4. That's not
It's
cool, but
it's
I
quite
could
possible.
definitely, yeah, I definitely could see that business practice going, right? But it's more like all these franchises is like we want to see, at least for me, I want to see what's the next step for these franchises because Nintendo usually do well with their franchises. Yes, Pokemon has been taking a hit. Pokemon has taken a hit in the terms of the franchise quality, but that game sells itself on just the title alone. So I can't even include that in the equation. But like, look what they've done with the Zelda game, which initially I didn't even like Breath of the Wild. I didn't like the direction they had taken with it, but now it's wonderful. Like not like actually after playing Breath of the Wild, I can honestly say like it's a very strong, solid, wonderful addition to the Zelda franchise. And while it'd be great to see, or well, it was good to see Skyward Sword come back remastered on the Switch. I'm still excited and still want to see more about what's it called? Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom,
Right.
yes, that's the name.
Tears of the Kingdom. I'm still excited to see that. I want to see that because that's pushing the franchise further, not relying on the most popular game within that franchise's life to be remastered over and over and over and over again. That
No.
that's only my gripe with the Nintendo Direct.
And Wolf brought up a good point, but hey, Etron Odyssey 1 to 3 on the Switch. I'm gonna buy them. I hear the internet screaming now. It's $80 for all three, and it's digital only. So I was doing some research
Ooh.
while we were before the podcast, it is digital only as of the moment, and it is $80. They are $40 a piece. So the whole scummy sale of you can buy them individually and they're $90. But
Oh my God.
so yeah, I hear you guys. I hear a lot of people like I'm passing on that, but it's fucking Etron Odyssey, man. I've never played Etron Odyssey 3, so I might just buy 3. I still have my Etron Odyssey Untold, which is a remake of 1 and 2. I still have that, but I know I'm not. Everybody doesn't have that. So Wolf brings up a good point that there are a lot of remasters of originals, and I think that that is a business strategy to a certain degree, where it's let's put out Baten Kaitos, right? Let's see how many people buy Baten Kaitos, and maybe we'll drop a Baten Kaitos 3, or we're working on Metroid 4, because I'm of the belief they're working on it, because to kind of punk us like that would be, I mean, they could fucking do it, but it wouldn't make sense. I think they are putting out Metroid Prime Remake to kind of like, one, tell people, hey, look, Prime's still here. Look, it's still here. We're working on it. It's not canceled. And to kind of gauge, like, okay, well, if we're going to put this much time, work, and effort into 4, how are people going to receive the first game? And I think you're right, Wolf. I think we might see Metroid Prime 2 down the line, Metroid Prime 3 down the line. I think it's going to happen, and they're testing the waters with Prime. Yeah, so I do agree. A lot of it is remakes. A lot of what I've just mentioned off is a lot of remakes. They do announce a new thing, like Professor Layton is getting a new game for those who like the Professor Layton games. So yeah, it is a lot of remakes and a lot of content like a lot of updates with Fire Emblem and Splatoon and Mario Kart. But I'm gonna speak purely personal, and this might stray a little bit from the direct, but I think it's relevant in that I look at getting a remake of Advance Wars 1 and 2, Baten Kaitos 1 and 2, Etron Odyssey 1 to 3, Ghost Trick, all games that exist and you can emulate, and I have some of the physicals already. I look at what's currently out, the AAA games that are currently out, the big ones. I'm not going to drop names so we don't get into a whole other conversation. Hey. There are a lot of games that are out that are just not worth it. Right? They're just not. They're in my opinion, they're not great. They're $70 because a lot of the video game industry has adopted the $70 price tag for games. They're just not worth it. So, while you're right, Wolf, while these are remakes, if I can get a remake of a game that I know I'm going to enjoy and I know I'm going to like playing, I'd rather take that, even if it is buying into the whole remake cycle of regurgitated content. I'd rather do that than drop $70 on particle-filled, jumpy, bland open world game. Take that description for what you will. And it just be shit. It just be unapologetically bad. I'll take the remake because at least I know I'm going to enjoy my time with this, as opposed to this brand new AAA sludge that they're trying to convince me is a good game. But
That's a fair point.
I do see your point.
That's-
It is true.
Mhm. No, that's still fair to look on the other side because, like I said, at least I'm sure that I'm getting a game that I can play. Metroid Prime original was one of the GameCube games that I owned that I really enjoyed. So at least I know that if I have it on the Switch, it's another game I can play that I can enjoy. Baten Kaitos, I didn't play 2. I played some of 1. So this is a second opportunity again. So these are second chances at full games. So that's looking at it on, instead of looking at the glass half empty, looking at the glass half full, right? So
Right.
that's just the way to look at it. It's just my 40 minutes of sitting there, I just constantly kept seeing repeats of games of franchises that I actually do care about. Like I legitimately do care about these franchises. Some of these franchises that was shown in the direct, and I want to see new titles from them as well. But I get that point of view as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not to go off on a tangent here. I mean, we already took that train, but we're gonna rail back. But I just want to say this could also be a business strategy of them combating people who are collecting old school games and marking them up at high prices. Maybe that's their way of like, well, if people are doing that, the people who actually enjoy the game will not be able to play those games. So they're just kind of like pushing them back into the market and having you buy them for a cheaper price as an alternative. But with that being said, I think there were a couple of like new games that looked kind of interesting in my opinion. Like, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know if some of them were already existing. So please let me know. But gonna mention Pikmin 4. That looked pretty interesting to me. As the whole panel knows, I love Castlevania. I was looking to acquire Dead Cells. It's already out to some degree, but they have, I guess, an expansion, Return to Castlevania, which looks
Yeah, it's an
absolutely
expansion.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks crazy, man. Like being able to use the Morning Star, use the items from Castlevania, a couple of characters from there, which are supposed to aid you from your quest. That looks cool.
Bro, I say get it, because God knows Konami ain't gonna do shit with Castlevania. So it's like fucking.
Oh, I'm definitely
Yeah.
picking it up.
They'll whore that poor franchise out, but they ain't making a new game. So
It's
take
definitely. I mean, they absolutely should, but I'm not gonna hold my breath because I know it's not gonna happen, unless they're really short on funds and they're just gonna throw some shit together and be like, "Hey, Castlevania, we're selling it based on the name." But there was other stuff too, like Deca Sim looked really interesting. I love like watching some detective shows and it being an RPG, which I also like. That kind of came together. Um, Bayonetta Origins, although it didn't follow the same kind of like game mechanic.
Yeah, I did
rubric.
mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks really cool in my opinion. I liked the look of it, and the gameplay looked pretty solid. I was pissed off about Splatoon 3 because they didn't show nothing. It's an expansion of a hub, as Gunnar said, and with the second part of that wave expansion, all they showed was a 2-second cutscene, but whatever. I'm gonna gloss over that. Octopath Traveler 2. I didn't even play 1, but I want to play 1. I'm definitely making sure I get 2 because I know those copies are going to be scarce.
As a demo, they announced a demo for it.
Yes, I know. I need to play it. I definitely need to play it.
But
I plan to.
but not to cut you off too bad, but that we knew that's coming out. Like we knew that was coming out. They just the news was like, here's a playable demo. That was
That's true. That's true. Sea of Stars looked really good. Like that's a old school RPG.
yeah.
It has a really nice aesthetic to it. The gameplay is pretty traditional from what I saw, but it looked cool. Unpopular opinion for the next game because I don't think you guys would have found it interesting, but Omega Strikers looked kind of cool to me. It's kind of like that air hockey game.
Yeah, free to play air hockey. Yeah, I think it's free to play.
It looks cool. If it is free to play, great. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be some gotcha implements in it. There's not a doubt in my mind. So that's probably going to take away from the fun. But it's definitely a very interesting, cool concept. Yeah. So just confirmed it is free to play. So that's awesome. Never got to play Advance Wars 1 and 2. So that's great. I get to play it because I love tactical RPGs. Those are like my jam. Disappointed with the whole Game Boy edition. Well, not the Game Boy edition, the Game Boy Advance edition.
They could shove that shit. I'm not supporting that.
Yeah. I'm not doing that either.
I'm not buying that. No, I'm not.
Yeah, like Batten Kaitos 1 and 2, you guys already know, so I'm not gonna even speak on that. Y'all need to get that, by the way. Another game.
Esoteric shooting for that Bat and Kaidos 3.
Yeah, pick up that pick it. Just pick it up, man. Fantasy Life 2, or is it 2 or is it
Yeah, because Fantasy Life was on the 3DS, I believe.
okay? That game looks freaking amazing to me. Like I enjoy playing a good builder game. I feel as though if Animal Crossing was a little more like this, I would have definitely picked it up. It looks really, really cool. If I got it correct, I think that is the builder game, right?
Fantasy Life? Oh,
Where you're
man.
like exploring the
sure.
island. I think it's Fantasy Life, the girl who steals time, and you're
Yes,
like
correct.
building stuff. Yeah, that
Yeah,
looks
build your own city, and then you go on adventures, explore the island with whatever life, which is kind of like your occupation, that you kind of like. So you can be like a shopkeeper, you could be an adventurer, a blacksmith, and it has time mechanics. You'll travel between past and present, and popular characters from the first game. So that should be good.
yeah. Never played the first one. I should definitely maybe check that out and see what it's about. Maybe emulate it or whatever, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be hard to find. For the 3DS. Day one buy. Hopefully, it's a physical copy of this next game I'm referring to. The Mega Man Legacy Collection.
Yes, that will have a physical copy, and Capcom loves their money, so they are splitting that in half.
Okay, gotcha. Oh shit. Never mind. Wow, you're splitting it in half.
Yes, it's the first, I believe, the first 5 games,
Mhm.
and then the remainder will be on another, much like the Mega Man X collection. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but it will be physical. That is confirmed. That is true.
Okay, it's fine. Whatever. I'll bend the knee for that. There hasn't been really a bad Mega Man game except for Command Mission. Wasn't really big on that. So I'll pick it up. Um, has Have a Nice Death. I already have the game. If they have a physical copy, I'm picking it up because I don't have one. And of course, I'm pretty sure this is unanimous. Tears of the Kingdom, day one buy. Absolutely getting it. Already have it pre-ordered. Wish I got the collector's edition, but whatever. It was not as amazing as the first one, which I got, so I can do without it. But those were the games that I was really interested in for the Nintendo Direct. Um, Everything else was pretty much fluff to me. Like Tron Identity, not interested. Um, Ghost Trick is a good game, but it's not my cup of tea. Um, what else? Disney Illusion Island. If it was similar to the Sega Genesis game of I think it was called Castle of Illusions or Illusion of Dreams. Um, it was a throwback game. Kong can kind of attest to what I'm referring to. It was a 2D game, and you played as Donald or Mickey, and it was a real fun game. It was, I think the aesthetic still holds up if I were to like pick it up now and play. Kind of like Link to the Past and Super Metroid. It really like
Had vibrant colors.
yeah, very vibrant, nice. It was dope. It was dope. Okay, it's been confirmed. Castle of Dark Illusions, yes. Great game. What else that I was like, I don't know. Um Harmony, absolutely no. Fashion Dreamer, that's a hell no. Um
I don't think we are the target audience for that one.
yeah, you're right. Like we not you know, Katamari is a good game from what I heard, but not my cup of tea. Um I'm on the fence about Etrian Odyssey. I think I may give it a chance.
Ooh,
I don't know.
okay. So I know you like RPGs. It's a first-person dungeon crawler,
Yeah.
which means it's not like the Final Fantasies. You don't see your characters. It's
Mhm.
everything's done via first person.
Oh, I know. I know.
Okay.
I
I think you would like it because it gives you true. I know Wolf would be a fan of it for sure. It gives you
Mhm.
true build synergy. Like it gives you characters, and you can build any type of team you want. You want like a traditional dungeon D&D style tank, healer, bowman, mage. You can do that. You want to do some fucking wild team builds. You could do glass cannon builds. Like the build variety in that game is nuts. So if you're cool with that, and I think you like it. Honestly, my favorite aspect of the game is the map. Like the map,
that's what I
the
was looking at.
yeah, the cartography in that game is just like a lot of games don't give you that, and the fact that I could kind of build my own map is just really freaking cool. It's just really cool.
Yeah, I was a while back when you did the review. I was playing it. Um, check it out on YouTube. It's still
That's
there.
a
The video
throwback
review.
video. That's you want early days or the early days?
Yeah, those were the early days, but it did really well. I didn't know that Etrian Odyssey has such a huge fan base. I played it briefly, and for the little time that I did enjoy. I did enjoy it. So I'm still contemplating on whether or not I'll pick that up. Um,
It's pricey though. As a fan,
I know.
I would say maybe wait because this isn't a Nintendo first party. It will go on sale. I would recommend picking it up when it's maybe 30 or 20 if it gets that low, because I can't recommend. Or maybe if you just want to try it, just buy the first game. It's $40. They're all $40, and then if you'll know if it's for you or it's not, but it's digital only, so there is no trading it in, so it's a hard sell if you're not like a fan of Etron Odyssey.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that it's not physical. Hopefully in the future, maybe. Not gonna hold my breath with that
Yeah,
either.
we'll see. And
You know, but it is what it is.
I mean, I'm all for more people playing Etron Odyssey because if that gets me Etron Odyssey 6, cool. But it's a tough ass to pay that. So
Yeah. This is probably another unpopular opinion, but Minecraft Legends looked really interesting to me. I'm not a fan of the original Minecraft, not because like the game sucks or anything, but because it's so pixelated that it hurts my eyes. I love the builder aspect of it, the builder factor, but it really hurts my eyes. Which is rare when it comes to games. Like I can play games from like Nintendo days and not be affected, but it's just something about it being so close up and being first person that it really bothers my eyes. But Minecraft Legends look hella interesting. Um, and I mean that's pretty much it on my end. Like,
uh, for me, I also forgot to mention one we knew about, which was Master Detective Archives Rain Code. I know that was a mouthful. Made by the same people that did Danganronpa. So if you like the Danganronpa art style, you'll like this game. I'm a big fan of Danganronpa, the visual novel type games, so I was planning on getting this. And one that I didn't know about that kind of sprung from nowhere is Deca Police.
that's what I want. It looks really
Yeah,
interesting.
like it was like, okay, it's a detective game. It's cool. It's cool. Then I saw like the RPG mechanics when you're trying to like fight monsters or detain a suspect. It gets into like an RPG mechanic, which I found pretty interesting. So that's a new title that shows some promise. So I'll keep my eyes open on that one.
Yeah, it
Those
has
were
like
two that I didn't mention.
it seems to me like it has like a astral chain type look.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought when I looked at it. Not Platinum Games. It's not the same people.
Yeah, yeah.
This is from level 5. So these are the same people that make like the Nino Kuni games and Rogue Rogue dang it. Um Rogue Odyssey, I think it's called. It's like a really old PlayStation 2 RPG.
Oh, okay.
Um
Okay.
so like they've been around in the RPG space for a while. So that one looked interesting. I'll probably look more into that when it gets closer to release.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested. I think they also did White Knight Chronicles as well.
Ah, yes, they did White Knight. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so quick question, guys, regarding the showcase. Were there anything that wasn't shown that you would like to see? I know Wolf spoke on, Metroid Prime 4, but were there any like titles that you would have wanted to be showcased, or any new IPs pertaining to like a sequel of an original game that y'all wanted to like see during the direct?
Not really, because I know Zelda's gonna continue. Mario, even though I'm not the biggest Mario fan, will continue. Um, yeah, not really in my case. I mean, if I saw a new Golden Sun, that would have gotten me hype. If I saw a new Advance Wars, that would have gotten me hype. But I think, like we stated for this event, a lot of stuff was kind of testing the waters with certain things to kind of see. All right, we're gonna put these remakes out. They're not that big of a risk, so we can kind of gauge if there's even a fan base that cares about this. So I think that's what this direct kind of was. Um, yeah, oh man, there wasn't like no DK games. There was a Samba Amigo, which for Samba Amigo fans, it's still alive. Cool. That's a Sega franchise that doesn't see a lot of love every now and then. So cool for that. Other than that, no. I kind of saw what I wanted to see. The games that I knew were coming out, which is kind of confirmed. It's like, okay, Octopath Traveler, I know that's coming out. It's got a demo now. Cool. I'm hyped for that. But other than that, no, I can't say there wasn't anything that I would have liked to see. At least off the top of my head. Maybe something will pop up as we talk.
Okay, gotcha. How about you, Wolf? I guess he's so speechless that he don't even know what he wants to talk about. I guess you're right. I don't know. There's probably like maybe I would love to see Star Fox get a new game.
Are you still
Um,
on Star Fox?
yeah, I am still on Star Fox, man. I think it's a very enjoyable game. Especially the one that kind of played like Ocarina, Star Fox Adventures. That was pretty cool. I already know F-Zero is dead because Mario Kart took that whole its whole theme with the zero gravity and being able to, go topsy turvy and all of that. If they came out with another Golden Sun, I would be super hype. I love the Golden Sun series, but I think that story is dead. I don't know. Maybe another Ever Oasis. That game was pretty interesting. Maybe another Kid Icarus.
Yeah, I
'Cause
would like to see another. I thought Uprising was a pretty interesting take on Kid Icarus. It was definitely fast paced. I wouldn't mind. I just think like the 3DS was a rough system to put it on because that game needed a fucking second joystick. So-
it definitely did. I think that game was the reason why the 3DS got an upgrade with that
well,
little nub.
it was one of the reasons why the original models had that whole weird attachment that you hooked up to it that gave you a second analog stick, and then you know,
Or was it Monster Hunter?
oh well,
It was
Masa,
both.
yeah, I was
Because
doing the
Monster
claw
Hunter
off that
had
bad
its
boy.
own, yeah. Monster Hunter had it where it said, only for the new special 3DS or something like that, and then it would the 3DS with the little nub that they, tried to pass off as a joystick.
Yeah, because
And Kid Icarus also suffered it. Yeah.
because if I'm not mistaken, Monster Hunter Tri Ultimate was the reason for the expansion analog stick, and then when they came around to 4, or was it? I think it was Legend of Zelda actually, where I first seen the one with the nub. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong.
I know the Majora's Mask one has it because I have that one. Is that the first one? I'm not entirely sure.
Gotcha. But yeah, what else? What else I could think of?
I mean, the first and foremost, like I said again, the Fire Emblem DLC for me is definitely one of the ones that's sticking out because I get Crom, yay. Um, plus a new story, of course, which gives me which give me reasons to, loading up the game some more because there's more content to play. Of course, there's Breath of the Wild, and it looks like it's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting take because I don't know if you guys noticed, but it seems like Link's right arm is damaged. Or
I thought at some point he loses his arm to something, the new big bad, and then he gets replaced with like Mecha Gundam arm. But I'm not. I think it's like yeah, but I did see the scene where his arm was like blackened, and I was like, ooh, okay.
I
yeah,
thought it
his
was
arm
one of the
seems
power
damaged.
gloves.
I mean, it could be. Yeah, it'll be another darker tone that the Legend of Zelda franchise has now taken because most of the Zelda themes or most of the Zelda storylines, when at their core, or if you really sit down and think about what's going on in them, is pretty dark or has dark elements that people tend to look over. But this one seems like to be putting a lot of stuff on the forefront and like, hey, look, Link may be this jolly blonde hair character that keeps getting reincarnated, but in the end of the day, he's going through some real tough shit. And
Yeah, I would not want to live in Breath of the Wild world because shit ain't kosher over there. A lot of people died.
a lot of people die, right? And then the way that if that is Ganondorf, wow, the reinvention of Ganondorf is crazy. That's probably the scariest he's ever been, if that is
Yeah.
Ganondorf.
True.
So Breath of the Tears of the Kingdom is definitely looking to be like a nice breath of fresh air to the Zelda franchise, a wonderful addition to help support, Breath of the Wild as a new style of Zelda game as well. And as far as everything else goes, honestly, my jaw dropped when I saw the Mario Kart DLC because I thought they were finished with that, and obviously they're not. I mean, how much more Mario Kart can you put in?
Oh no, they got a few. They got a few more waves. I think there's like, if I'm not mistaken, 8 waves of Mario Kart tracks. So they're pretty much going to do what they did with Smash Brothers Ultimate and just smash a whole bunch of tracks in that game. They also added another character. I think it was Birdo that they
Birdo, I
added.
believe. Yeah, Birdo.
Yeah. So
But here's the
they're
thing: like, are they gonna bring all that for 9? I freaking hope so.
well no, it's all a season. It's all a season pass, so everything should be
No,
free
I mean
for.
when the eventual Mario Kart 9 drops.
Oh,
I like
that's what you said. Okay.
I like to think that all that is gonna be there with maybe some whatever new mechanics they want to add for 9. If you like cut all that out and then start from scratch on 9, you getting into FIFA territory and the sports games at that point. I mean, if anybody can get away with it, it's Nintendo, but I don't think we should even go down that route. Not not with Mario Kart. It's not my cup of tea, but I know Mario Kart's a big franchise
Yeah.
and a lot of people's only racing game. I'd be careful. I'm no exec at Nintendo, but let's hope everything's in there for the eventual 9.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see.
There's Bayonetta. There's Bayonetta, and then there's like the other games that are coming out that are just a bunch of remakes that's coming out as well. So I'm excited for Advance Wars.
Anything
It
you
is
would
a
have liked to
remake.
see?
I would have liked to see Metroid Prime 4. I'm going to stay on that. Like honestly, I'm really gonna stay on that. I love Metroid Dread. I think Metroid Dread is an amazing game, but I do want to see Metroid Prime 4. At least some glimmer, of information that lets me know, okay, like I'm like, while I am pretty sure Nintendo is working on it, I still want to see something on the game. Um, but other than that, the direct is fine. I would have liked to see I know Pokemon is supposed to get a huge update. Scarlet and Violet is supposed to get a huge update because of Pokemon Day or Pokemon Day. I don't know if that's passed already or not. I don't think so, but they're supposed to get a huge update. That would have been nice to be a part of the direct so I can get more information on when, Game Freak is planning on what to do with it, if like any major updates. That's because it's supposed to be a huge update for the game.
I wouldn't be
Um,
surprised if that gets its own direct. I think that's probably what they're waiting for.
maybe so. That is true. That is a possibility of what they're doing and stuff like that. But a lot of the games I'm playing now is getting, expansions to them. And then there's also a lot of older games to come out where I can play them. So for me personally, I mean, Golden Sun would have been nice
Yeah.
if they had a new Golden Sun coming out, or if they was just like, here's all 3 Golden Suns on one day on one cartridge at this point. Because I mean, I'm not really sure where they're going with the franchise, if they even intend on using it. But it's
I mean,
something I would love to see.
to pull Bat and Kaitos out of the graveyard, gotta mean that they're not above maybe revisiting Golden Sun, which I think they should. It's it's their RPG. Square's got Final Fantasy. Fucking Bandai Namco has Tales. Golden Sun could be Nintendo's RPG. I mean, even though maybe now Xenoblade is kind of their RPG now, but hey,
Yeah.
there's room for more than one.
Yeah.
And
they
even
got
Xenoblade
Fire
getting,
Emblem.
Yeah.
and even Xenoblade is getting its DLC with a new character, and later this year they're getting they're getting an expansion to their story, which looks like it looks confusing but interesting at the same time. Like, I want, like, okay, where are they going with this? Because it looks like it ties into the main story, but
Yeah.
it looks good. It looks good.
Yeah. So I guess before we wrap it up, I'll bring up something that I think I brought up briefly in my little rundown. This whole expansion pass nonsense that Nintendo is trying to seemingly force on people or bribe people into buying into. I just wanted to ask how you guys feel on it, because the GBA kind of almost got me. I was like, because GBA has a great lineup of games. And I thought about it for like a split second. I'm like, bruh, but that's $50 a year to just get access to, I guess, N64 and now GBA games. And it's just like, it's not worth it.
I mean, subjectively speaking, I'm like, I dislike it, but objectively speaking, it's still relatively cheaper than what the Nintendo's counterparts are doing. I mean, you're spending like what, maybe over $100 for Xbox and Sony if you were to opt in for their retro subscription. So, with Nintendo, it's relatively cheaper if anybody were to go with it. It's just, I don't know. I just feel as if, like, me personally, it's not my cup of tea. However, I'm not gonna complain that they're doing it if the competition is doing it as well, and they're doing it for a relatively cheaper price tag. So
I mean, but we're getting dangerously close to almost $100 a year for this thing, and that's
no, we absolutely are, but I'm just saying, like, if they get to like where it's like, oh well, we're gonna add GameCube as well, and then that's an extra $20, or they get to the point where they're like really, really dragging it, then I'm like, yeah, that's ridiculous. But
I see it happening. Like, oh, yeah, we're gonna add GameCube support, Wii support, and it's just like, this thing's gonna reach up to fucking what, $120 a year for that? No, I can't do that. Like, you're getting into bill territory, like legitimate bills. It's like,
No, I get it, man. That's why, I feel like, for those of you who still have their 3DS, probably have a little bit of money, income tax came. I say you hit the Nintendo store, get as much of those old school games that you can get, and just
oh
have it
god,
like that,
yes, yeah. Shit,
Yeah.
now you know why they cut off the fucking DS and the 3DS store. Oh, put
Yeah.
that shit on the expansion pass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the expansion pass, when if I had to build an argument for it, it would be, well, I paid for a Sony subscription a few years ago, $20 or $15 more, and got nothing out of it other than capabilities to play online with you guys, right? The expansion pass will give me video games to play along with the ability to go online as well, and it's still cheaper than that. But that is still my only argument for it, and I can't come up with another one because I don't know. So it's you pay for the expansion pass, and then you get to play as many Game Boy Advance and Game Boy games as that they put up on there to play.
Yeah, pretty
Okay,
much.
so
Yeah,
it's a streaming service kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
pretty
like
much.
any of that stuff. I don't like any of that stuff. I don't like it. Obviously, it's a strong tactic for Microsoft. And with Sony, it's supposed to be a strong tactic for Sony. I imagine that it would have blown, some profits for Sony out of the water, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case because the PlayStation 2, 3, 4 have insanely strong titles on it.
Hmm.
So I don't know if anything has changed for them profit-wise just from applying that kind of service to their online subscriptions. And it's the same thing for Nintendo. It's like, well, it could prove beneficial to them in the long run, but at the same time, like I'm not interested in that way. Um, the GBA games, if I don't have a GBA to play them, then I just simply won't play them.
Yeah, yeah. And in a world with emulation, I know I don't emulate. I know, Esoteric has got a Steam Deck, so he emulates. It's not rocket science to do it. It's been streamlined to the point where it's kind of plug in and play at this point. So in a world where I can just get Golden Sun and emulate it on my PC, it's hard to justify doing that and paying $50 a year. I
Mhm.
get it. I get people don't emulate. I don't emulate, so that might be the only option that they have. But I don't know. I'm no Nintendo fanboy. I'm not gonna put on my Nintendo armor and fight for them in the field of war. So I can't justify this. I just can't justify it. I mean, if Nintendo's all you play, the Switch is the only system you play, maybe you could see that. But the fact that it is like Netflix, like you said, which is a good
Mhm.
analogy for it, and it's not even okay. Here's our entire GBA library dumped. Boom. It's
Mhm.
we're going to release these games. Then a month from now, we're going to release these games. So there might be a month, much like Netflix, where you go, I am not interested in any of these GBA games. Well, tough titties. This is what you get for the month. Hopefully, next month gives you a game you want. And it's just like, how often are we going to be playing GBA games like that? So there might be a
Mhm.
couple months where you're not even going to play a GBA game. Doesn't matter.
Mhm.
So it's $20 is already a lot for me for this thing to play online, where Monster Hunter is the only game I ever used it for. But so I can't give him $50. I'm sorry, can't do it. I can't do it.
Hmm.
Okay, so I think that wraps it up here. I think we've kind of expressed everything we wanted to express. Just want to say thank you, Mr. Esoteric. Thank you, Mr. HadoWolf, for joining me and partaking in this conversation. It was a good one. Hopefully you, the listener, the episode, give us your opinions on the direct. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it meh? Are you looking forward to these remakes? Too much remakes? Just put it in the comments section. We read them, we respond to them, and we appreciate your feedback. So, just a couple closing points. We have a Discord. Check it out. We have a YouTube, obviously. We post our podcasts every Wednesday. We try to keep up on that. So if you enjoy this type of format, we have a backlog of catalogs stretching months that you might enjoy with a plethora of topics to choose from. So make sure to check that out. Follow us on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Check us out on our socials. Mr. Esoteric streams on Twitch under the brand of Logical Gamers. He streams every Monday and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. So make sure to check him out if you're interested in that. He's a variety streamer. He plays a lot of different games, modern to some old school stuff. So, check that out if you're interested. And other than that, I guess I'll wrap it up here. Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. And have a good night.
All right. Take
All
care.
right. Have a good night.